we never left.
Somebody let me out of this place.
Like Mr. Science Theater 3000 were trapped.
Yes.
Just keep simming baseball games, boys. Welcome back to the Eternal Baseball Podcast. We're your hosts, Mark Weber, Brett Rotundi, bringing you the very best in historic and not so historic baseball action. We always try to get around to teams that we haven't highlighted yet. So on our game of the week tonight, we'll have the Texas Rangers at the Kansas City Royals. That new burgeoning violent rivalry down there in the American League South, which is basically who can catch Birmingham, and so far it's nobody. But we're excited to be here. It's been a good week of action in Eternal Baseball. If you visit our homepage at eternalbaseball.com, there's lots of ways you can interact. We have team-specific message boards. We've got some really good feedback this week from a Diamondbacks fan who noted that Ian Kennedy hadn't pitched at all for the Diamondbacks yet, despite being on their roster all year. And it was just a snafu of statistics in that we have him on the Diamondbacks from his days as a starter, but he's really reinvented himself as a pretty quality reliever. So when I input the stats for him as a starter, I didn't change what they call his EPC, or his expected pitch count, which had him limited to about 40 pitches per appearance, which is about the max you want out of a reliever who wasn't a massive long reliever. So when his turn would come up in the rotation, the computer would look at him and go, he's only going to throw 40 pitches. And he's they're not ready for the opener, I guess. And so they skipped him every start. And so he had never pitched. And we want every team to be as competitive as possible, but it's hard to keep track of every team. So an Eagle-Eye Diamondback fan pointed out, how come Kennedy hasn't pitched yet? And when we dove in, it's a simple enough fix, but it was only because he had kind of sniffed that out that we were able to turn that around. And the Diamondbacks have actually been playing good ball, so it's like they got a new starter, via trade a third of the way into the season. So if you're keeping an eye on your team and a guy is struggling and needs a break, or the backup catcher is always getting 2 hits a game and you think he should play more, that's exactly where you should let us know, because we're on those boards daily. That's where the box scores go every day as soon as they're fresh out of the oven.
Just come to yell. If you just want to yell at us, we're there. Just tough day at work. We're there.
We're here for abuse. We're here for applause. We're here to
adulation.
Whatever.
Preferably the latter.
Yeah, beefcake photos, whatever you want. We're absolutely ready to help you out.
We'll get our OnlyFans going soon. That's really going to be gangbusters.
I think we only have OnlyFans, but okay. But yeah, the message board is a great place to interact with other fans from your team. We made them team specific, so we wouldn't have Red Sox fans arguing with Yankee fans and Dodgers and Giants. And we get it. You got your own sandboxes to play in, so that's helpful to you. The homepage is also the very first place the daily scoreboard, the league leaders, the standings, and the players of the day go up. And so they go up there first, and the box scores get posted, and then we start to feed it out to our Facebook page and our Twitter feed and our new Instagram page. So, but the homepage it's the home page for a reason. That's where you want to be for Eternal Baseball. And tonight you'll see, I've had a cool picture I put out there of George Brett, looking like he had a tennis ball in one cheek. That's pretty much his go-to, at least from the early 80s, walking around on the field with Buddy Bell. So it was, I just did a search for George Brett Rangers, and that's about the only image that popped out. But it's a cool shot, and nice. A Royals fan said it was from, I think, the 84 All-Star game.
Oh, cool.
So we use that to kind of trumpet tonight's matchup, because there's not a lot of historical matchups between the Rangers and the Royals. But I'm a little excited to get out there because I don't have any reason or tie to Kansas City at all, but I have always liked that park. I always thought Kauffman Stadium was cool with the waterfall and the big crown in center field, and I just think it's a cool park. So I've always pulled for the Royals, kind of on the side a little bit.
And I've always been a huge fan of Hal McRae's double play breakup slides.
Yeah.
A barrel roll. Like nobody did it better than McRae.
People talk about, I mean, even Kansas City, Bo Jackson or Deion Sanders or those first two sports stars, but nobody really integrated Major League Baseball with MMA like Hal McRae.
You will submit, Randolph. Right? You will submit.
Right. Remember that time he made Ozzie Smith tap out? It was great. So and that was actually one of the brutal parts of it is that McRae got off to a terrible start for Kansas City. And a lot of Kansas City fans were pulling for Amos Otis, who had such an extraordinary long career. And that's something we ran into a couple times is because Eternal Baseball focuses on the peak of a player's career, sometimes those really extended runs of excellent play, I don't want to say they get overlooked, but maybe undervalued for what our sim is looking at. So some guys like Amos Otis, we heard a lot of Frank White squeaking early on when he wasn't on the main roster. And I was looking at it this week too, because Kansas City is scuffling along a little bit. And Moustakas is playing second for them mainly because he became a second baseman with Cincinnati after he left Kansas City. And Whit Merrifield is there. And Merrifield's great because he'll play second, left, or center with some power and some speed. But he's terrible this year. Just having an awful season. So maybe the Royals fans will get that Frank White sighting that they were asking for because
I'm okay with McRae coming off the bench to pinch run as long as there's less than 2 outs. I'm cool with that.
If Raines can play second for Montreal, we could put McRae at second in Kansas City.
I just want him breaking up a double play at some point tonight. That's the only thing I'm going to push for.
Who's going to go tell him he can't play second, right? Like you go. That's what a bench coach is for, right? You go tell him, Roto. He's friends with you. So I will let me get my screen shared here, and we'll look at the.
Did Biancalana? Did he make the? Is he on the?
I don't think he did. Great name though. Like
is he on the farm?
Should have on name basis alone. I'm not even sure he made the farm. Have to look him up there, but we'll zoom in here and make this a little more. Try to zoom in. Make this a little more palatable for the folks at home. So we'll look at it, I guess, in portions, but make it a little more. So here we are. We're out here in week 9. And your teams with the really good weeks are your Boston Red Sox and the Cubs. Now, the Cubs are not only 6-0, but if you look at the last week, they were 5-1 last week. And they started 1-1. So they've won 10 straight. So we'll check out the standings right after this. But the Cubs are really starting to make their move after pretty mediocre play up until about 2 weeks ago. But like we've always said, those teams that have been around for 100 years, their talent is so deep that you can pretty much count on them to always be in the mix. Another team like that, the Tigers, had another strong week, 5-1. The Dodgers, who were kind of disappointing most of the year, have wrapped out a pair of 5-1 weeks. So they're getting serious. The only question is, San Francisco is going to have a wheel fall off to come back to earth out west. They're the best team in the league by far. And even though they looked mortal last week at 3-3, when a team goes 3-3 and you're like, wow, they're falling apart. You can tell they had a really good year, and they bounced back to 4-2 this week. So that's a tough division to win out west. Though like we said before, we simmed 10 seasons before we kicked off our first official season. And the Giants don't always win the West. It's a competitive division out there, and it's usually the Dodgers giving them a stiff test out there. So we'll see how that shakes out as the season goes on. Your tough weeks. Padres, who've had kind of a tough year in general. The Mets, who've been pretty good, but they've had a tough week and dropped a little below 500 with a 1-5 showing. The Expos, who I love, but it's been a tough road to hoe for them. Milwaukee had a tough week too at 1-5. And then a whole bunch of teams in the middle. The one thing that I noticed, and I caught it because one of our players of the day today was Garrett Anderson from the LA Angels. The Birmingham Knights, who have been rolling in the South, that's our team made up of legends from the Negro Leagues. And I tend to watch their games because I think it's just interesting to see all those names together on one squad. They got pounded by the Angels, 17-4. And
wow.
At one point, it's one of those when the beatdown starts to happen to the starting pitcher, you're like, you need to get that guy out. You need to get that guy out. And then at one point, you're like, yeah, what's the point? Right? Like, well, you're going to go to the pen in the third inning? Like, I'm sorry. It's like the scene from Platoon where the guy runs out of the forest as the helicopter takes off. It's like, So I think it was Dave Brown got Dave Brown that day, and they left him out there to like 12 runs in 5 innings. Like,
ooh, ouch.
Just like was that the Expos game we had where Andy McGaffigan came in out of the pen,
yes,
and gave up like 8 in a third of an inning. It's just, especially for a reliever, it's just an ERA murderer. Like, your season's done. You'll never pitch enough innings to bring that ERA down from that cool FM territory. So,
yeah, cool FM.
So that's what we're looking at here for the week. It was, a couple of standouts, a couple of struggles, but really a bunch of teams kind of in the middle. So we'll go to the standings here and see what we're looking at. So I wish the races were a little more competitive, but we've got a couple of runaways. Like Philly is up 9 on New York. New York was challenging, but the 1-5 week really hurt them. The South and the National League's very competitive, with Houston and Arizona both 2 games back of Atlanta, who's real hot. Arizona's played well lately too. In the North, we've got St. Louis and Pittsburgh with just a game between them. And then the Cubs 4 games back. But you can see, if you just look at the last 10 games, when the leader goes 5-5 and the second place team goes 7-3, a third place team going 10-0 is making up some good time on both guys. So the Cubs look like they're getting into it up there in the North.
Hanging around.
And that's it, man. You never know. One thing we haven't seen, which I think I'm happy for, really haven't seen any catastrophic injuries. And I don't know if just talking league wide, I don't know if the sim just doesn't do that, but we're a third of the way into the season or so. And in real baseball, you already would have 4 or 5 guys lost for the year, arms thrown out or blown ACLs or whatever. We haven't seen any of those. So I don't know if that's true. I mean, either we've been lucky or that part of the sim is a little less realistic. But I like the realism of the sim, but I don't have a problem if catastrophic injuries are kept at kind of a minimum.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I like to see the teams compete as best they can. And because there's no trades, it's not like, if the Giants are rolling and they lose Willie Mays for the year, well, they would probably go pick up a new center fielder, right? As cool as it would be to see Joe DiMaggio or Jim Edmonds or Mike Trout in center, and that's not the way we were here. That's different. That's a different kind of sim. You want the other podcast for that kind of thing. In the American League East, which, I'm a Yankee fan, but I keep that kind of quiet. I've been waiting for the Yankees to make a move, and Boston just doesn't slow down. They're really good, and they hit a ton. And they've had some injuries, too. Some guys have missed a couple weeks. Mo missed some time, and Manny Ramirez missed some time. But it hasn't really affected them. And it's their chimera of a pitching monster of Cy Young, Pedro Martinez, and Roger Clemens, all in their prime. I was watching the other night, and Clemens had his first real hiccup of the season. I think he gave up 7 runs in 8 innings, a bunch late. And they still rallied to win, like 9-8. Right, with a walk-off or something. And I'm like, I don't know if the Red Sox are ever going to slow down. So, but New York's a couple games back. Baltimore has cooled off a bit. Birmingham has been strong all year, except for yesterday, or I guess it was today, where they got pounded by the Angels. But they've got a good lead. That division is the one that appeared most wide open to me because it's 3 expansion clubs and one that we kind of created. I don't know if there's a better term for it, but there's no team there with 100 years of history that is at least going to be okay. So that's the South. In the North, Detroit's doing well with Cleveland, Chicago, not real close. And out West, Oakland has been strong, though the Angels have enough talent to make a push. We just haven't really seen it yet. So that's where we're at right now. I'm hoping things tighten up a little bit because, division races are good for baseball. And with no wild cards, you really need the division races to have some sizzle in them. So
M's are only 11 back.
Right? And they were 10 or 11 and 1 or something. But and they were struggling, I think, this week too. And then I don't know if Randy got beat, but you kind of learn that value when you're watching it close of having that ace just to stop the bleeding when things are going bad, right? And they definitely got it. That's one reason to tip your cap to Arizona, because I didn't expect a whole lot from the Diamondbacks as one of the more recent expansion clubs, and the fact that we didn't give them Randy Johnson or Kurt Schilling. And Ian Kennedy apparently took the first third of the season off. So we'll see if
contract dispute, yeah.
Right. And Kennedy actually won his first start and pitched well for them. So nice. We'll see if the Diamondbacks continue to make a little noise. But tonight it's all about Texas at Kansas City. So we'll hop into the schedule here. And sometimes this is one of the things that drives me nuts in the game. It's showing you pitching leaders over here, right? Who's this guy? Is that Aubrey Huff? Or I don't know who it was, but sometimes it just throws a random dude up there. Like you're looking at hitting leaders, and it's very obviously Bob Gibson. And even though Gibson was a really good hitter, that was something we looked at in our newsletter, which is free and you can sign up for at eternalbaseball.com. There's lots of stats you can dig through here, and we barely get into them even on the podcast. But I looked at some lesser-known stats or stuff you don't see all the time, including batting average with runners in scoring position. And the leader for the whole league, because it's early, is Jesse Tannehill, a pitcher from the 1910s with the Pirates, who I don't know much about. And I looked him up, and it turns out he was a really good hitter. As a pitcher, and occasionally they put him in the outfield too.
And from that picture, I'm going to say he was quite the gentleman as well.
Absolutely, right? Very dapper. He led the league in total dapper. So he's the lead right now. I assume there will be some minimums eventually that'll push him out. But for now, that cracked me up when I looked at it, because you're expecting. I mean, the guy's just killing it, like Willie Mays or Ted Williams or Nap Lajoie and it was Jesse Tannehill was just like, nope. And guess what, boys? I only need like 5 hits this year, and I could be running that show all year long.
That guy doesn't miss.
Nope. So this was these teams split their first 2 games, so it's the rubber match here as we've got Texas at Kansas City. I'm always afraid I'm gonna hit auto. And we'll have to pick in the game and make everybody mad who tuned in. But for now, Kansas City and Texas. And I looked up a pitching matchup because I was hoping to be able to trumpet it, and it is underwhelming, to say the least. Actually, hang on. We want to change the icons to big. Font size to large.
Right. Change it to Gen X.
Right. So it's Danny Darwin against Danny Duffy. So the D's are wild.
Love it.
And Darwin has had, I think the 3.51 is what his stat line shows it should be. But I think his ERA on the year is like 7.5. He's had a struggle so far. So, of course, we're Royals fans for the night at least. So we'll hope to inflate that ERA a little bit. So against righties, this is the lineup they traditionally roll out, but I always like to look at how they're actually doing here in the replay. So the RP stat here is how they're doing in our Eternal Baseball.
Oh, Hal McRae is inactive.
Yeah, McRae's down there in the minors.
Huge disappointment.
Sorry about that.
I'm going to need a second to compose myself.
Right? Just go run and hit somebody over there, and we'll count it. Looks like Jermaine Dye should be playing somewhere. Because his RP is not bad over there at 828. So he's better than Tartabull and better than Soler, both.
Yeah, I have a little grudge against Danny Tartabull because I sent him some baseball cards to get signed when I was a little kid, and he sent me back a He sent the cards back, which was kind of him. But then he sent me a sign-up sheet for his official fan club, where you then could get It was hugely disappointing.
I mean, at least you got the cards back. But
That's true.
The funny thing, the ironic thing was, if you turned that fan club invite around on the back, Corey Snyder signed it, which is weird, but apparently Corey Snyder signed everything always.
Really?
Like, yeah, supposedly he never turned down the opportunity for an autograph. They say unautographed Corey Snyder cards are more valuable.
This is the Brewer?
The Indian.
Oh, Indian, that's right.
Yeah. He was a signing machine.
I love it. I respect that. I absolutely do.
All right, we'll drop Dye in there for Tartabull as a payback. That's what you get.
It's all about grudges, man. This is what this is all about. This is like a lifetime of grudges.
I mean, we could play Tartabull over Soler in right. His numbers are a little bit better, but
all right.
His defense is probably worse.
I kind of just haven't vocalized my complaint. I'm sort of over at this point. I just needed to get that out into the ether.
Yeah, Tartabull's a brutal fielder, so Soler's probably doing us more good there. So Tartabull will be our pinch hit guy. Angel Baroa, sorry. His numbers are a little better than UL Washington, but I know you're a UL fan. So,
yes, absolutely. UL has to stay. He and his toothpick.
I doubt if the light hitting shortstop 9th place hitter role is going to pivot this game, but remember that if it actually does. So our top 4 guys are Brett, Perez, Damon, and Dye. Mayberry might be overrepresented up there in the 2-hole. So we've already got Damon up there. Maybe that's where Dye goes. Damon, Dye, Soler, Brett. We probably want to break up these lefties a little bit. Amos Otis. If we switch Otis should be ahead of Moustakas anyway. And if we hit Brett 3rd instead of 4th, switch him and Soler. Now we're going lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, switch. So, what do you think? Did that make a good cake?
I think it's a winner.
All right, well, we'll see. As you know, we're hot right now. 3-0 in our last 3 weeks. 0-5 before that, but it's cool. So we're going for 4 this week as the Royals host the Rangers.
Welcome to Go Stadium for tonight's game between Texas and Kansas City. Danny Darwin takes the mound for Texas. He's made 9 starts on the year and is 2-4 with an earned run average of 6.84. His first start against Kansas City. He'll be opposed by Danny Duffy for Kansas City. He's made 8 starts on the year and is 1-1 with an earned run average of 3.38. His second start against Texas. It's 64 degrees, wind speed 8 miles per hour, out to center field. Pitching for Kansas City, number 23, Danny Duffy. Leading off for Texas, shortstop, Michael Young.
Play ball!
So I'm liking the 6.8 ERA for Danny Darwin, coupled with the 8-mile-an-hour wind out to center. So,
big day.
Might be fireworks today. So just so we get the beauty shots up there, you got, look at fresh-faced youngster Johnny Damon out there in left.
It's like he's on the Yankees.
Before he became a beatnik poet and a disappointing Yankee. Amos Otis in center, like the fans wanted. Jorge Soler in right. George Brett, looking for a dip, I think, at the moment. But UL Washington, the hair game's on top. Beefy Mike Moustakas at second. John Mayberry and Sal Perez. Did you see his shot the other night, his walk-off shot?
No, I missed it.
Oh, God. Good. I think it went 459.
Oh, wow.
It was
no doubter. Wow.
Yeah, and he didn't take his time too much, but it was a walk-off. I think you're allowed to take your time. And like a boss, he didn't get rid of the helmet. Most guys are chucking the helmet before they touch home plate so they don't get beat up.
Two-handed it?
No, he just walked in like, who's the man?
Yeah.
It was something. I was impressed.
I like it.
So here we go, Michael Young.
I was hoping to make a Walker Texas Ranger joke at some point tonight, but
But
then I realized my memory is so terrible I couldn't. Do you remember that old show Renegade with Lorenzo Lamas?
On the motorcycle.
Yeah. And then I realized I couldn't differentiate those two shows in my mind. So
I think it was only hair length, really. There was the difference there.
I just remember the intro. He was a cop and good at his job. The Renegade.
But then they screwed him, right, or something.
They were saying about they killed his wife or something.
And now he's the Renegade.
That's what we should do. Is we should figure out how to get the rights to that so we can Mystery Science Theater that.
That's a good idea. I was at a toy convention in Dallas when we went to an authentic Western wear store, and my friend Angus Walker was with me. And there was a bolo tie with the Texas Ranger logo on it. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
Dude.
No brainer.
What's your name, right? It was like $12.50 or something. I'm like, you pretty much have to buy that. And the two disappointments. Number one, he didn't buy it. And number two, I was close to buying an authentic, like real good looking all black Stetson cowboy hat, which would have been awesome because I'm about the loose cowboy guy anybody's ever met. And when the guy really wanted to sell it to me, and when he sized up my gigantic 7 3/4
Oh no!
He looked at me and he said, in the best drawl, "Your head is going to be a problem." He wanted to make the sale. He said he could get one in, and then they could put it on a hat stretcher for like a week. And I'm like, okay, that's the universe telling me you don't have to drop. You don't got to drop these bills. So anyway,
oh man, bummer.
back to action. Ian Kinsler from Arizona State,
left fielder, number 23.
Did I ever tell you the Kinsler story?
Maybe tell it for the crew. That you got to tell it for the crowd.
Some anecdote heavy. Let's see if I get it right. Kinsler was the shortstop for Arizona State, a good one, obviously. And then they brought in a hotshot recruit from high school, and they said, "Hey, Ian, we got this new hotshot recruit." And they're like, "Great, what's he play?" And they said, "Shortstop." And he's like, "Well, that's great, because once you slide him over, we'll make a slick combo." And they're like, "Yeah, we kind of agree with you." But they wanted to slide Kinsler to second and move him off short. And he said, "Nah, not happening," and transferred to like Mississippi or Alabama or somewhere else. And the shortstop was Dustin Pedroia. So my Sun Devils could have been running Kinsler Pedroia. And the brutal part, Pedroia ended up a second baseman anyway.
Right.
But, that's alpha dog kind of stuff in college. I'm not moving off a short. So Ian Kinsler, sort of a Sun Devil. Although I bet there's not a lot of Sparky or maroon and gold in his house. All right, back to it. Nelson Cruz.
Third baseman, number 29, Adrian Beltra.
I should have looked closer because my photo of Kaufman is covering up what their stolen base capability are. I guess we can look at it. Stolen base percentage. Look at that.
0. It's like he blew his ACL on that turn.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him. And this is young Nelson Cruz. Not that old Nelson Cruz is any worse.
Pitching for Texas.
So he just never stole a base.
I guess not.
City, left fielder,
Well,
Johnny Damon.
Well, we had Perez behind the plate, right? So that may
okay, gotcha. That's true.
We'll have to check out somebody slow when he gets on for Kansas City, maybe Mayberry or somebody, and see what his percentage is versus Ivan Rodriguez back there, right?
Wow.
Like we're probably gonna hold the reins a little tighter.
Yeah, I was gonna say this isn't a game that Whitey Herzog would be pleased with.
Which is funny because the Royals are historically known as a team that likes to steal bases. But all right, Johnny Damon.
There we go.
Breaking up the no-no.
All right, we got to send him. Let's test him.
Let's see what it looks like. 81%.
Oh,
right,
I think you got to do it.
All right, fine. That doesn't look good.
He's got it.
Oh, he's in there.
All right. Look at us, man. Look at us.
Now, it looks like it said 41% as he slid in there. So I don't know if they were taking into account who the catcher was when they told us 81, but whatever. Jermaine Dye off the bench and popping it up.
Give us the box. We want to take that base.
Not at 28%. The most terrifying thing I'm looking at here, and I don't know why they're running it this way. Look at the center fielder, Juan Gonzalez.
Oh, wow.
Left field, Nelson Cruz. And Josh Hamilton over here in right going, what's up, boys? I can cover some extra territory if you want. We're not sending Damon to third.
Third baseman, George, Brett.
Brett is the best hitter in the league, at least by batting average, 382. So they might put him on. Who knows? Nope.
Yes.
Probably should have. Put it on the board.
Right fielder,
Yes.
12.
Jorge.
So
We've never had a lead this early, I don't think.
It's exciting. It's a bad omen, but it's exciting.
See, I don't think this is factoring in who the catcher is.
68.
I don't believe that's accurate to Iron behind the plate. I think that's just overall. So
okay.
I don't think I'll hit and run if you want, but I'm not sending it.
No, he's gonna strike out.
Hey, you're probably right. Hey,
first baseman,
you've been watching my
John
fantasy team.
Mayberry.
What was that old skit that Johnny Carson used to do with the envelopes?
Karnak.
Karnak. Yes.
Yeah, where they were in sealed envelopes that were kept on Funkin' Wagnall's porch. That was a good bit. Here's Mayberry.
Get out.
Sun Devil Ian
First
Kinsler.
baseman, Rafael Palmyro.
Palmyro.
Palmyro. I can just see him pointing at UL Washington.
How was UL Washington only a 5?
Josh
That's a good
Hamilton.
question.
He must have just booted a lot of grounders over the years. But
When Moustakas is a 5,
yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. Damon's only a 6. That's a little low for him. But if Soler is a 6 in right, I would think Damon, even in left, would have a little more respect. Here's Josh Hamilton, who had an interesting career. I
Center
suppose
fielder,
that's
Juan.
Yeah.
a gentle way to put it.
I just remember those tats that he had on his arm. I mean, those were legit.
I feel bad for Angel fans a bit because they signed Pujols and Hamilton
That's right.
when they were both just dominant, and neither one. I mean, Pujols wasn't terrible, but they were never the player for Anaheim that they were for the previous clubs. Here's Juan gone. He's got 13 homers on the season. Not bad.
Catcher.
But he can't handle the Duffy.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez hasn't been bad. Oh, wild pitch. Fastball.
Oh, James has a. Oops, sorry, interfered with the action there.
76 steals.
Mark.
That's amazing.
Like Sarah.
So, but he was a 0. Wow.
That had to be really early in his career.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it didn't align with the peak years.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Yeah, that's a good point because the only thing entered would have been his 3 best seasons as a Ranger.
Yeah.
So that might have been after he stopped running. Kirby Puckett style, right? Or Gwynn style.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking young Tony, he'll swipe you 30 bags a year. If you're talking old Tony, he's only going to swipe you 30 ding dongs a year, right?
Rest in peace.
Right, exactly. No offense. Mark Teixeira having a tough year down in Texas.
Center fielder, Amos Otis.
Otis is an incredible bunter, and it looks like Beltre and Palmyro are both aware of that fact.
Can we slap?
I mean, you can bunt for a hit, but if they're already in, I tend to think you just swing away because
I'm with you.
if you hit it hard at all, they're not going to be able to catch it. That's not very hard, but it might make the seats. Oh, and now this is kind of cool. See how they backed them up? Because now with a strike or 2 strikes, it's far less likely to bunt. So,
yeah, 2 strikes. Yeah,
2 strikes, not bunt with 2 strikes.
It's a big time pop up.
Whoa!
Second baseman,
Sorry
number
about that.
11, Mike Moustakas.
I went to hide that window and it hid the whole screen for a second. That's fine. Mike Moustakas. See, and this is where Royal fans have outfoxed me, given how the season has gone. Like I made the very strong point before the year. I know you love Frank White, but Mike Moustakas and Whit Merrifield have better peak numbers. They just do. You'll win more games. And Moustakas, day one was like 4 for 5 with a homer and a double off Cy Young. And I was so proud of myself.
Just
See?
Vindication.
Told you, Royals fans. And now here he is at 232 with 3 homers.
Regress to the mean.
Frank White is so ready.
Here's James had the breakdown of the Nelson Cruz steals.
It doesn't seem like that was that long ago.
Yeah.
We'll have to check that after the game. Maybe Nelson Cruz is misrepresented from a stolen base perspective.
Shortstop, UL.
Here we go, UL. I don't know what UL stands for, but I bet James does, or will. I think it's Ulysses something. Oh, he's rolling now, though.
Oh, send him home. Let's get the balk. No.
Nobody goes first to third like a guy nicknamed Moose.
Shortstop, Michael
Young.
Well,
that'll do it for the rally. Michael Young was one of our first players of the day that we post up on Facebook and on Twitter and such. And he got a ton of likes from Ranger fans when I posted him up. And more than half female. So I think Michael Young was I don't know if he was married or not. I'm just gonna say he was a favorite of the ladies out there in the Dallas Metroplex.
Nothing insinuated.
No. Just a lot of female support.
Nelson.
Who was the guy that we tried? The center fielder. Speaker.
It was funny because as a Yankee fan, I was always fond of Speaker because he was one of those shining stars Boston let go or traded away. And I was always, I was revel in that, right? When Jeff Bagwell goes nuts in Houston or when Babe Ruth gets sold to the Yankees. So they let Tris Speaker go and he had like 18 more great years. And I actually looked into it this week. And it turns out that the left and right fielder, Harry Hooper and some other guy, were very loudly and proudly Catholic. And Speaker was violently Protestant and really loud about it.
Oh, is that right?
So being anti-Catholic in 1910 Boston, probably not the best way to go. And he got traded, I think, in the 1915 offseason. They had just won the World Series. Traded him away for guys who didn't turn into a whole lot. And then they won the series again in 16. So
their own outfield version of the Troubles.
Everything that I told myself, like they shouldn't have got rid of Tris Speaker. Well, they kind of probably had to. And I bet they missed him. Well, no, they won the World Series that year too. So fine.
James came through. Thanks, James.
That's incredible.
That is wild, yeah.
Wonder why you would name your kid initials.
I'm sure there's a good reason.
What are his initials then? ULMW or something? Anyway, good to know. All right, Nelson Cruz, the Fleet.
Thanks, James.
Steps in.
Designated hitter, Jermaine. Dot.
We're going to have to pick it up. I've been story heavy.
Third baseman, George Brett.
Nice having Brett on our side.
Just a killer.
Jorge.
He just hits all day, and a good glove at third too.
Oh no! Yeah, I didn't watch you for your reaction. You didn't move on that one at all,
right? Yeah, I'm always watching when one goes up in the air. I misjudge it all the time, so I'm always watching the fielder.
Gotcha.
Right? If the fielder doesn't immediately start going backwards, it's probably going to hold up. I don't know why they're throwing over on Brett.
Third baseman, Adrian Beltre.
Don't touch his head.
First baseman.
Did you ever see that stuff where Beltre didn't like his head being touched?
I did. Those are great videos.
Elvis Andrus would always do it. So they traded him to Oakland.
Right fielder, Josh.
We'll have to dig up video of Palmyro wagging his fingers.
Right? Palmyro in the finger and Andrus messing with Beltre's head.
I'll write a note.
Center fielder, Amos Otis.
That'd be something if Hal McRae just came flying out of the dugout and slid into second base. Like a wrestling run-in.
It's like it's like those football games where a returner's about to score and someone on the sideline just cracks him.
I think it's total pro wrestling. It just needs entrance music. Like, oh my God, it's Hal McRae.
Hal McRae
Comes out with a chair and just brains Michael Young.
Second baseman, Mike Mouse Takas.
All right, Mouse Takas.
Catcher, Salvador Torres.
There we go.
Shortstop, UL Washington.
Well, Sal's got a 0 as well, so maybe it's going around.
Come on.
Although, yeah, if you look here under reel and replay, it shows what his stat line should be at this point, according to his numbers that are entered versus where he's actually at. So they kind of got him in 0 steals all the time anyway. But UL, with 2 outs, you got to swing away, my friend.
Get there.
Sun Devil Ian Kinsler, all over that.
Center fielder, Juan Gonzalez.
One gone. Ooh, that's got a chance. Nope.
Did you get it?
Johnny Damon, up to the task.
Designated hitter, Mark Teixeira.
Teixeira. All right. I don't. If he wants to run, I say let him. With
I'm
Perez
with you.
behind the plate.
I'm with you.
Shortstop, Michael Young.
Oh, he's testing him.
Oh, he's in there.
Oh, got it.
That's a bit of a middle finger as the catcher to run on Perez and get in there. All right. I guess it's not ladies' night at the ballpark,
Johnny
Michael Young.
Damon.
Johnny Damon.
Designated hitter,
All right.
Jermaine.
Gotta send him.
He was already safe once, right? All right, fine. Works for me.
Look at that jump.
He's me.
Oh, darn it.
Fine.
I regret nothing.
Still tie game. Didn't cost us.
Baseman, George. Brett.
Well, I would have liked to have had him on for George here, but okay.
That's true.
Nope. See, it wouldn't have mattered.
I'm too impulsive, Weber. You got to keep me in check.
Baseman,
Right.
Ian Kinsler.
No, that made sense, I thought, but all right, fine.
Left
That
fielder,
triple's going to hurt,
Nelson Cruz.
though. Nothing like a leadoff triple with Cruz and Beltre coming up next.
How's Duffy? Is he still strong?
He's at 81 pitches. He can throw 100. So he's probably safe through this inning unless things go sideways.
Okay.
But he's not a horse, so it is something to keep an eye on.
Third baseman, Adrian Beltre.
Man, tough part of the lineup.
Yeah, and Beltre's a lot better against lefties, but we don't have anybody up yet. So maybe it's time to get somebody up.
Dan Quisenberry.
Looks like we can get a guy ready in 2 batters. So actually, it could be ready for Palmyro and Hamilton if things go sideways here. So let's see who Casey has. Who's tough on lefties versus lefties. Wade Davis is their closer, and he was brilliant. This is based off best 3 years, right? So he had that spike.
Oh, Soria had some good years too, though, didn't he?
Yeah, and so did Greg Holland. Their pen's pretty damn good.
Man, I was hoping we'd get Quisenberry in, but with that bullpen.
Yeah, Quisenberry's like the 4th or 5th option. Looks like Soria hasn't pitched in ages, and he's tough on lefties and righties. Pretty much the same as Holland, so maybe we'll get Soria warming up here just in case things go sideways. Like
Come on, Donnie.
First baseman, Rafael Palmyro.
Okay, Palmeiro's much worse against lefties.
So keep him in. Or?
If we check the mound, Duffy's still strong, but Soria is ready.
He's a righty, though, right?
Do we go to the fresh Soria, or do we let Duffy face basically his last batter? Since Palmyro, I would say struggles, but it's 292 lefties, 309 righties.
I think one more batter, but I defer to you if you're
no.
Soria.
I'm gonna take your suggestion because that takes all the accountability off of me. So, Danny Duffy,
just send him.
Roll those dice. Oh no!
Oh, come on, Johnny! Come on, Johnny!
You know what? There's nothing wrong with a sac fly, right? You give up a leadoff triple, he's probably coming in at some point.
Yeah, still though.
So Duffy could actually go one more if we wanted, because he's got 9 pitches till he wears out.
What are Hamilton's splits against lefty?
305 against lefties, 317 against righties. So it's not tremendous. And Soria's ready.
Your call, man.
I think we pull him.
Sounds good.
I think we get Soria in the game here.
Pitching for Kansas City.
I'm a little disappointed that the wind's blowing out.
Soria.
And that Danny Darwin has a 6.8 ERA, and we've muscled up 1 run off 7 hits. But fine.
It's going to be a nail biter. I think we were due for a nail biter.
Let's see what Soria can do here. That's not what we're going for.
Paltray taking the base.
Juan Gonzalez.
Juan Gonzalez is hitting 7th.
I just remember weren't his forearms almost like Popeyes?
He was tall and skinny, but yeah, I think he had those huge forearms. I just remember he was beloved in Texas, and then he signed that huge deal with Detroit and basically vanished, right? Just, the Tigers didn't do much while he was there, and just the fit wasn't there. He was so Ranger, it just didn't work. It never worked visually for me when he strode to the plate in Detroit. All right, but Juan Gon, one of the best nicknames ever. And he delivers.
Come on, UL. Come
right?
on.
Catcher.
Well, I'm feeling bad about Soria.
Darn it.
See if we can get out of this inning. Jeez. Okay. Amos is getting it done.
A can of corn.
Yeah.
No worries.
But that's going to be it for Soria because he's a 1-inning guy, max. So next up, we go switch righty. So we want somebody good against right-handers. So out of our bullpen, that's
Dan Quisenberry.
It looks like it should be Holland. Well, Holland at some point in the next innings. But Quisenberry can try to get us through one. Just to get the quiz in there. All right, so there. Danny Darwin heard all the smack we were talking about, apparently.
Get out.
Yeah. Amos 239 Otis strides the plate. Okay, we could bunt here.
Yeah, if you're feeling it.
Not with 2 outs.
Go for it if you're feeling it. We could use a base runner. Who's up? Mouse Takis is up.
You want to bunt with 2 outs?
No, it's up to you. If you're feeling it. Base runners are base runners. Is he a 10 bunter?
He's a 10. He's a great bunter.
Ooh.
And so far today, he has popped to short and lined to right. So if he bunts out, at least it's different.
Let's do it.
Look at that. He's in there, I think.
But did he make it?
Yes.
Mike.
All right. What's his speed? Woo.
Run 10, jump 6.
I think we try to get him in a scoring position. What do you think? Or is that too aggressive?
I mean, we'll keep running on Rodriguez. We're 1 for 2 running on Rodriguez, but
up to you. If you want to see if we can just hit a dinger here.
I think we're gonna let Moose hit here. Maybe. Well, we'll have him steal third after this single. Watch.
There you go. I like it.
Okay, he was at like 39% on the throw over, so I think
okay, cool.
We chose wisely. It didn't matter.
Designated hitter, Mark
Teixeira at 194. Oh, I forgot Soria's tired.
Shortstop.
My bad.
Michael Young.
Sorry, Quiz. Forgot about you there for a second.
Pitching for Kansas City, Dan
You want to
Quisenberry.
see the mustache? I know you want to see the mustache.
I actually would really like to see that. Yes.
He looks like a substitute teacher.
He just looks like the postman, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
He looks like Cliff. Hey
like
there, Norm. I bet you didn't know the ancient Sumerians were postal worshipers.
Man, we should have started. He's got a 50 pitch limit.
Second baseman.
Yeah, he's fun. Look,
Kinsler.
he's humbling them right now.
Just dealing.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Good night.
Oh, God.
He's humbling them right now. Arizona State's Ian Kinsler
Nelson Cruz.
just took him to the house.
The problem is we just threw our formula out the window.
Man.
Anecdotes and compliments, Mark.
Yeah, we got
no.
cocky. All right.
Catcher.
That's loud.
All right, here we go.
Maybe Perez should have hit higher up at 345. Starting to second guess myself there. But I'm enjoying the musical interlude.
I wonder if there's multiple versions.
My friend Rob is wondering where Frank White and Willie Wilson are.
Oh, yeah, I'll bring it up here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we probably could have used a little more Frank White today. So, Sal, let's go. Nope. Pop.
Shortstop. UL.
All right, we're in the seventh. We might consider pinch hitting here.
If you want to, after that poor play at short,
we got Baroa at short. So, yeah.
I'm vindictive enough to pull him.
For Danny Tartabull?
Oh, I was thinking Baroa, but yeah, I guess he's having a pretty bad year.
Well, I think you pinch hit Tartabull and then put Baroa in.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Because we're not going to pinch for the top of the lineup, so this is the spot to do it. Your friend and mine.
There we go. He's probably like the nicest guy and just had like a busy month or something.
Right. His wife was sick or
right. I'm sure.
Well, we'll give him the opportunity now to have a signature moment.
This will make up for 40 years of.
Right. See if you forgive him. No! 40 years later, still disappointing you.
The ball don't lie.
All right, Johnny Damon. Not happening.
Third baseman, Adrian Beltra.
All right, so this is where Baroa gets in. Short. And Quiz, he's only thrown 6 pitches. He can go for quite a while. Of course, one of those pitches
First base
ended up in Tennessee.
Rafael Palmyro.
Palmyro.
Get there, John. No.
Right fielder, Josh Hamilton.
That is now I've gotten in trouble already, but that is a bad beard decision going on right here. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that wasn't probably his best look.
There's nothing wrong with if that was a full beard, I'd let it go. And if that was a square goat, no problem. But the combo is bad.
That probably was just one of those, where he probably hit that first big deal and then was, like a month after that first big deal, and was just like, let's do this.
Yeah, like whatever. Well, and no offense to Josh Hamilton, but it's not the worst decision he ever made in his life, right? So,
and plus, all the ladies are flocking to Michael Young anyway, so
you got to do something.
Differentiate yourself.
Yeah, fresh-faced Michael Young. Fine, I'll be the bad boy.
There you go.
Right. Yeah, I get it with the tattoos. It's edgy, it's dangerous.
That was all due to Michael Young.
Yeah, Michael Young. All right.
Center
All right, quiz. That was
Quiz
pretty
is starting
disappointing.
to worry me a little bit here.
Yeah.
Not that we're winning this game, but it might make sense to get somebody else. Look at these.
It's
Kelvin Herrera, too.
Ted
Yeah,
Abernathy time.
Their pen's good. Abernathy's the white flag, I think.
I have no idea who Ted
You know what?
Abernathy is.
He's not bad, actually. Look at those numbers.
Wow.
219, 213, 218. I mean,
What era did Abernathy play in?
I don't know that much. I think
spacing that name
Abernathy
entirely.
was. I think it might have been those late 70s, early 80s Royals teams that were really good.
Gotcha.
But I don't know that much about it. So I was looking for who the white flag reliever is of this game's lost. And they don't have one. They're all pretty damn good. So, all right, quiz. Show us something. Ugh. All right.
Catcher, Ivan Rodriguez.
I think that's it.
Slipping away.
That's it for the cue. He's not tired, but he's just doesn't have it tonight. We'll see after the game if he has that minus sign by his name, right? What just says, yeah, the stuff just wasn't there.
Minus sign the size of his mustache.
Right.
Number
Greg Holland,
56,
welcome to the game.
Greg Holland.
Oof.
Get down.
Yeah, there's pretty much no throw
Designated
from
hitter,
front row.
Mark Teixeira.
6-1. It's been a disappointing day at the ballpark for Team ED.
Yeah, I think this is on us for not utilizing that bullpen better.
Might be. But really, Danny Darwin, punching well above his weight class today. At 104 pitches, though, it's time to bite him because he's almost out of the game.
Pitching for Texas, Dick Bossman.
Got a guy right at the edge of his
George
pitch limit, and George Brett just frothing in the batting in the on-deck circle. And they're like, nah, you get Dick Bossman.
Dick Bosman.
Look at that guy. What's his first name, if that's his short name? Rich, probably, right? Probably Rich.
Richard Bosman.
I'm going from those mutton chops. It's probably Rich Bosman. That's what I'm saying.
A little inside humor that
Exactly.
take way too long to explain.
But he just got George Brett to tap out.
Right
so
fielder, Jorge Soler.
come on, Jorge. Ooh. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
It's waterfall.
Take it.
You can hear the fireworks.
First baseman, John Mayberry.
I think that's the first one of all the games we've played, at least for our home teams, that was a complete no-doubter, right? That you were just, yep, too high. It's too high.
Although that one didn't Larry Walker last week just hit it was a laser. I didn't have time to get worried about it. It just went.
Yeah. It was like last week was like 18-2 or something, right? Like,
I think it was a shutout, wasn't it?
right? That's like trying to remember a specific hit from that game is like coming out of a Fast and the Furious movie. Like, remember that thing they did with the car? That was awesome.
You should do a whole series just on just you watching the Fast and the Furious.
Oh my God. New trailer dropped this week.
Did it really?
Yeah, spoiler. They go to the moon. Yeah.
Wait, who's still in that series?
The same people. Yeah. Come on. Like, there's a lot of acting opportunities for that cast.
I have never seen a single one of those movies. I need to actually partake.
I saw one under duress. Right? Like, it's just so bad. And here's the 9th one. Now with more Cena. So bad. All right, fine. John Mayberry, save us.
That was the one with the runway?
Look.
Yes, here we
Back
go.
to back. Yeah, that was the one I watched with the runway where they're.
Center fielder.
I think it was the
Amos
6th one.
Bonus.
It's hard to tell them apart. Where they're trying to race a car into the up ramp of a giant C-130 transport plane. It's like a 20-minute chase scene before they finally do it, and then the bad guy cars all go off a cliff or the volcano explodes or whatever. And at the end of the movie, my buddy who showed it, she was like, "What'd you think?" And I'm like, "I think that was a really long runway. That's what I think." 20 minutes on the runway. Not like curving, not like going around like NASCAR in a C-130, but whatever. Amos Otis. God, we bunted for a hit last time.
Hey, let's do it. We need some base runners.
All right, fine.
Man,
Nope.
he's not to Rodriguez.
Shortstop, Michael Young.
Well, we looked a little frisky. I'm happy about that. Holland can go a couple batters, but maybe not all three. So if we have to, maybe it is Ted Abernathy time. No. Yeah, he's actually better than Herrera.
That's handsome
Ted.
Michael Young, though. Are we sure we?
No, not
Okay.
yet, but just to get him ready, because
Okay.
Holland has thrown 7 pitches, and they limit him to 25, which is not
Okay.
much.
Gotcha.
So if he gets in trouble, we might need somebody else, just like that.
I'm glad you're actually running the sim because I would make so many just absurd tactical errors.
Well, and I just make the spiritual errors, like taunting Danny Darwin before the game actually starts. Suddenly, and Kinsler steps in, rips that single to center.
Oh man,
Left fielder,
I
Nelson.
should have told more Lorenzo Lamas
Right,
anecdotes prior to the game.
we're doing better with Renegade. Ted Abernathy, welcome to the
Pitching
ball
for
game.
Kansas City, Ted Abernathy.
Look at Mike Moustakas,
Look at that.
leather merchant.
Beltran.
Moustakas makes a leaping catch. How often do you think commentators have used that one over the years?
That has never been uttered.
Right. It's the first word. Like home run Ozzie Smith. Go crazy every day. All right, so this is an easy one. Michael Young makes a nice snare while smiling at the girls in the stands. He can throw home with a 1% chance to get Michael Young's coming home. This is Baroa, Angel Baroa. But he's got a 92% chance of turning that double play with one.
A 1% chance.
Not to be a renegade and throw home.
So just don't hit the wrong option.
Throw home? No. Just like that.
Clockwork.
Great play.
Pitching for Texas, John Wetland.
John Wetland.
Second,
Oh man.
I had an Expos fan
Talkins.
spark last week about how come Wetland wasn't on the Expos. And he ended up with I forgot he was a Dodger to start with. Dodger first, and then I think he was 3 years in Montreal. And then I think maybe just a year or two in New York. He's still well known in New York because he closed that 96 series over the Braves, their first title in a long time. But then they got rid of him right away because they had a young Rivera ready, or so they thought. And he ended up in Texas for 4 years. So Texas is where he hung his hat the longest. So John Wetland, your closer, as the Moose steps in, fresh off that leaping catch.
Did he get it?
Oh,
come on, Moose.
are you betting on Beltre's glove or Moose's legs?
Like say, Frank White makes that.
That's probably true. All right, Sal. It's frisky. No.
Shortstop, Angel Baroa.
All right, well, we don't have any other shortstops on the roster, but this is the last hitter of the game. So feasibly, we could put Merrifield at short, and he'd be terrible.
Okay.
So, but Baroa's numbers on the season are actually better than Sweeney or Merrifield's. So on the season, you would leave Baroa in. But historically, Baroa's a 722 OPS, Sweeney's 868, and Merrifield's 811. So
let's bring Witt in. What do you think?
Give Witt a shot.
Pinch hitting for Kansas City, number 15.
Let's see.
With
Look at him. You got to like Whit Merrifield. Let's see what he's got. Not much.
I thought I was going to get through. Dang it.
It's over. So as the Royals fans have a point, Moustakas and Merrifield Didn't do a whole lot. So the win streak snapped. We dropped to 3-6 as the Texas Rangers pull away.
The final score from Kauffman Stadium, Texas 6, Kansas City 3. Danny Darwin is the winner. He is now 3-4 on the season. Danny Duffy is the loser. He is now 1-2. John Wetland gets the save. Number 8. Ian Kinsler hit home run number 3 on the season. John Mayberry hit number 6. Jorge Soler hit number 10. Time of the game, 3 hours, 14 minutes.
So of the guys who were modified, Bosman was the one who was ice cold. 2 minus signs here. And 2/3 of it innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs. I believe he was our gopher ball pitcher today for our back-to-back shots. But Darwin was nothing, no modification. Typical stuff, but a great line. 7 1/3, 1 earned, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Duffy wasn't bad, but Quiz really let us down, man.
That's hugely disappointing, I have to say.
Yeah, gotta say. They should make him shave his mustache after a performance like that. So hats off, literally, to Texas Rangers, who improved to 21-33. Casey drops to 24-30. That's our first game from the Monday lineup. And we'll have the rest of the games up for you tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. It's always our pleasure to bring you the game of the week on the Eternal Baseball podcast. We'll be back next Sunday. Meanwhile, keep your, get your baseball fix. Head to eternalbaseball.com. Check out our message boards. You can find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter, find us on Instagram. 2 players of the day every day. You always get all the box scores from the standings. And if your team's not playing as well as they should, take a look. We're always open to suggestions, and we're happy to do anything that might make your team better. So, again, it's the Eternal Baseball podcast. We'll see you every Sunday night. I'm Mark Weber. For my pal, Brent Rotundi, have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Baseball podcast. Good night, everybody.